because people will tell me, well, keto really works for me. And after we talk, and I'm like, well, you regained how many pounds? 30. Well, then it didn't work for you, did it?
It's really interesting. I'm glad you brought that up, because it's a lot of the same way how people treat juice cleanses or like these detox cleanses, where they're like, oh my God, they do so well for me. Every time I do it, I lose like 15, 20 pounds in like a weekend. It's like, okay, but then what happens? For something to work, it has to work over a long period of time. What most people do is they look at the short-term positive of that weight loss and then assume it quote unquote works, and then very easily forget about the relapse and the binging. And it's actually, if you really look at the mindset of it and psychology of it, it's a lot like those who are addicted to gambling. Someone who's gambling, when they almost win, when they're very close, the brain activity is very similar, if not exactly the same, as when they do win. It's like when you lose a lot of weight very quickly, you get that, oh yeah, it's working, this is it, crushing it.
Yeah.
And then when you gain it all back, all you remember is but that worked really well. And you forget how hard it was and how miserable you were. And I'm not saying you have to be miserable on keto. You do not have to be miserable. There are people who do it very successfully and they love it. But I am saying that if you are someone who's trying keto and it's been very difficult for you to maintain it long term, you have to logically and objectively ask yourself, is this actually something that is good for me? Because if it was good for me, then I would be able to sustain it long term without it drastically taking over my life.
What's up, what's up? I'm at Joe DeFranco's gym with Rico. Joe's about to walk in any second. Last thing you saw, I was doing the podcast with Susan, ended that. We were supposed to come here yesterday. Crazy day, just schedules didn't mix, so we had to postpone it. So it is now Thursday. I don't know the actual day, I think it's the 24th. Yeah, Thursday the 24th. And now Joe and I are about to get going, planning the seminar, getting everything ready to push it out, creating more content, and just us getting aligned on what the seminar is really going to be and how we're going to plan for it. And that's it.
Let's fucking do this. So this will be 2:01. Get my thoughts straight. All fucked up.
Just thinking like...
It's live to tape. All right. All right, so we're opening up with... let's just fucking start, whatever. All right, yeah, we're not going to plan any intro here. Let's get rolling. Back with my man, Jordan Syatt. Jordan, welcome back. You are the one of the few repeat guests. You are the fastest repeated guest I think I've ever had. It's only been a couple weeks and you're back.
That's a huge honor. I'm stoked.
I'm telling you, it's something special. I appreciate you coming back, man.
I'm stoked, man. I'm really excited.
This kind of pops into my head. It's something that I always use as an analogy, kind of wrapping it all up as far as like the mindset of going into the gym. I always loved using the you've seen Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you haven't seen that movie? It's great. He's a bouncer and he's like he's like the baddest dude in town, but they always bust his balls because he's not that big. So they're always saying, I thought you'd be bigger in your line of work. That's like one of the big things. But he's this badass dude, like everybody knows who he is, Dalton. Like he's the badass bouncer that comes and like cleans up the dirty bars in all these towns across the country. But his philosophy when training bouncers was, be nice until it's time to not be nice.
Right.
And they would always show him he's super friendly. But then when a fight broke out, Patrick Swayze's beating the shit out of people. That's how you should approach your workouts. Like, be nice. You don't need the music blasting. You don't have to be cursing. You don't have to be snorting ammonia every second. Be nice. You still want to hit the weights hard, train hard, but just have a nice demeanor until it's time to not be nice. You go to a powerlifting meet. Your buddy wants to challenge you to a bench contest. You finished your 12-week, you tried a new training program and it's week 12, testing week. You want to see where you're at. Now you're not nice. You're pissed off Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse. Like
what you just said is so important.
All the time.
I
love the Patrick. That's why I don't even know if it fit, but whenever I talk about training intensity versus like stupidity, I always use the Patrick Swayze Roadhouse example, and I forgot to use it, so I was like,
I love
I
that.
gotta fucking wedge this thing, crowbar this in here somehow.
But what you just said, you went over. You said like it was like, for me, it made sense, but it glossed over so fast. Where you were like, if you're at the end of your 12-week phase and it's testing week, then by all means test. But people hear 12 weeks, and it's easy to just say 12 weeks really quickly and like go over 12 weeks.
Yeah,
but like.
Yeah.
Most people go in and test every day, and every day, and it's, you really think about it.
12 weeks is nothing, by the way, in the grand scheme of things. Yet people can't even stick to that.
It's like, if you really think about why people are testing so often, it's an ego thing. Mm-hmm. It's because if they don't lift as much as they possibly can that day, either like their own ego is hurt because like, well, I didn't lift as much as I could, so I must be failing, or it's like oh shit, there are other people in the gym, I want to put as much weight as I can on so that I can impress them.
Meanwhile, listen, the hot chick doesn't give two shits what you bench press, by the way. FYI, just throwing it out there, all you young Guidos out there. She doesn't care. She's not looking at you. Stop it.
I'll get the
24th.
I'll get the sales page done today.
Cool. That's good with me.
Thank you, man. It was good to see you.
The podcast?
Yeah, that was really good. Did you like it?
Amazing.
You liked it that good?
No, like legit. It flowed, like there was no forced transitions.
Yeah.
It all flowed perfectly.
That was awesome. I think it was just good topics.
Very little one.
Oh shit, this is it? Damn it, fuck.
I think that is a good idea.
That's... Alright.
Dunkin' Donut?
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
No
Yeah, the
problem.
gas station too.
Yeah, this is perfect. And do you want anything to eat or drink, sir?
No,
Are you Okay, alright.
This time, no worries.
Thank you. Be right out.
I'm gonna do it this time.
Okay. Thank you. Let's see. Fucking hungry. I've been really on point with my nutrition. Who's calling me? Take it later. Been really on point with my nutrition. So like, I don't want to like get like fucking this shit, but I want something quick that'll just hold me over until I get back into the city where I can actually have a good meal. So, gonna get something to drink. Probably, I've had enough caffeine over the last week, so I'm not gonna get something with caffeine. We got sparkling water. You want one? No? Okay. Oh, here, perfect.
I tried one of those the other day for the first
It's good,
time.
right?
Definitely recommend.
Sparkling water, just because I like water. 42 grams of protein. Whole thing is 240 calories. Fill me up, hold me over until I get back. So it's easy. It is simple. It is simple. No, I'm all set. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Really appreciate that. That's awesome. That's amazing, dude. I love that. Yeah, no, I noticed your engagement looks way better recently with more frequently and more view. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm stoked because like that last call we had, like it was a big talk in terms of like putting out more content. Like, I'm glad.
And almost from my like day-to-day actions, I feel like I'm being lazy, but I felt like I was working all the time. I just wasn't being productive, and so that helped really shape things, if you will. So
that's a huge piece that a lot of people don't get. Like, a lot of people are very busy, very few people are very productive.
yeah,
It's super easy to get sucked into the busy and not actually like, well, are you actually being like productively efficient with work is really a good way to look at it. That's awesome, man. I was stoked to see like the way that your Instagram has been going. Are you also making YouTube content as well?
not really.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's worthwhile, like if he's gonna be with you, then have him film like some longer form content for YouTube, and then from that longer form content you can also make it for Instagram and for Facebook and stuff like that.
Okay.
like one of the cool things that Rico's been doing, which I fucking love. I don't know if you've seen my story, but like yesterday and today, and one
your workouts and stuff?
Yeah, he'll take like a 15-second clip from a workout and turn it into like an informative like Instagram story clip.
Yeah, I noticed that. That was sick.
And like it's literally just like one small part of a greater whole on a YouTube video, but he'll like format it so it's super nice quality on the Instagram story, and just like put the caption on it so people can read it without the sound on if they need to. And like it is like those have been getting a great response. Like people, it's just like a really quick informative tip or like useful whatever that people can use that like they might not have gotten before.
Like your like when you were talking about your kettlebell single leg RDLs.
Literally exactly right.
That one. That's awesome.
Yep.
That's a good idea.
So, and like that's the cool part about filming for a little bit longer. Bless you, sir. It's like for a little bit longer, like because from a longer form video, you'll usually end up getting a lot more content than you might have realized. And through that longer form video, it tends to be more natural. Whereas like like the 60-second stuff is great, but it's more like, okay, like you got to do this, and like that's fine. But when it's a longer form, a lot of stuff will just come out, and that it's cool to have that just there in a much more natural progression rather than like every content feeling forced to do it.
Culture-wise, it's just feature like.
I just want to like take a second and thank so and so. I fucking love that. Can I get a chef salad, please?
Good day today?
We had a really good day. I'm pretty stoked about it. Good cappuccino. Podcast with DeFranco. Podcast with Joe went really well. I love talking to him. We, I think just like if you saw us walking down the street and heard us talking, you'd be like, those guys are so, what the fuck are they doing hanging out together? Joe is like a big, jacked dude, and he's like very just like non-filtered, just like, I don't give a fuck, da-da-da. And then I'm just like, I'm not as filtered, but I think I come across as more filtered. Whereas Joe's just like straight up just like in your face, da-da-da. But like, when we talk, we come from a very similar lifting background, and we jive super well. And I like talking to him about lifting. I like talking about the art of lifting, the art of coaching. I feel like there's been so many amazing things that social media and the internet have done for fitness and for knowledge. One of the things that it's done not so well is it's done a really good job of putting so much information just right in front of your face. I think it's sometimes harder to dig deeper. It's sometimes harder to look for the things that aren't right in front of your face, and programming and periodization is one of those things. I think that's one of the things that when so many just workouts are right in front of your face, when so many exercises, it's easier just to go out and do something. And for coaches, it's a little bit of a problem if you want to learn how to be a better coach, because the art of programming and periodization and workout design is not as, it's still readily available, but it's not as up in the forefront of things that a coach needs to do. I think with a lot of new coaches coming out and new people who want to be personal trainers, they don't know where to look. Like, where do I look to learn how to program design? And so with Joe, it's been really cool to talk about programming and periodization and coaching and psychology of clients and all that. So really good with that.
In terms of like training wise, when are you gonna get like deadlifting and stuff? Like how are you gonna structure your own training?
So I'll break it down. So the way that I'm gonna structure my training is going to be based off of what I used to do, just with lighter weights to start. So basically, I'm going to have, it's actually a little bit different, because I do have some physique-focused goals now. I would like to get a little bit bigger. I would like to put on some more muscle, whereas before, when I was competing, I was in a weight class, I was in 132, and I didn't want to get bigger because it would put me out of that weight class. So I actively did not try and put on muscle. I don't know if I'm going to compete again, but I do know I want to lift really heavy again, so I'm totally fine with putting on some muscle weight, some more weight. I would love to do that. So in terms of my specific strength for deadlifting, I'll have 2 deadlift days every week. I'll have a strength day, and then I'll have a speed day. The strength day is going to be characterized by 3 to 5 sets of 3 to 5 reps. Usually, there might be a little bit of variance, but generally 3 to 5 sets, 3 to 5 reps for my first movement of the day. Very, very, very heavy. After that, the accessory work, the ancillary work is going to be all like lower body focused, whether it's glutes, hamstrings, quads, and it will be strength based, but not so heavy, not like 3 to 5 reps. That'll be more like from the 6 rep range all the way up to the 15, 20 rep range. The second day will be more speed based. And so my main move of that day is going to be 6 to 10 sets of 1 to 3 reps for speed deadlifts. This is the type of thing specifically that most coaches and lifters and personal trainers, they don't understand, and it almost sounds counterintuitive. Like, why would you lift lighter weight if you want to get stronger? It's the balance of strength and speed that allow you to get the best of both worlds. Where there's going to come a certain point when if you're only just lifting really, really, really heavy, you'll inherently be limited that you won't be able to lift anymore. And by adding more speed into your training, essentially what's improving called rate of force development. There's an equation for force, right? We learned this in like, I don't know, probably middle school. Force equals mass times acceleration, right? Force isn't just about mass. It's not just about how much like force you can put in the ground. It's also about how quickly you can accelerate that force. So if you think about it, if you're only practicing lifting really heavy, then you're only working on one side of the equation. If you also work on developing more force more quickly, then you're going to be able to accelerate more, you're going to be able to lift more weight. So the speed day is specifically designed around getting better at the skill of producing more force more quickly. So what I like to do is I like to spend this one day on improving my technique and hammering in good form, but also making sure that I can produce more force in a shorter amount of time. If you think about it from like a jumping perspective, like the best jumper, the people who can jump the highest, jumping is a very rapid movement. It's like really quick, really fast. You can't jump slow, if that makes sense. Like, you've never seen anyone jumping slowly. If you want to jump high, it has to be a very fast movement. If you try and jump really slow, you're not going to go off the ground. And so jumping is the best example of a rate of force development. Also sprinting. You can't sprint slow, right? That's not what it is. Like when you're sprinting, every step you're putting as much force into the ground as possible. You have one lifter who can deadlift, we'll call it 500 pounds, and another sprinter who can deadlift 400 pounds, all right? You might assume that the sprinter who can lift more weight would also be strong, would also be faster, because they can put more force into the ground and generate more speed from there. But what if the lifter who only deadlifts 400 pounds can produce a greater percentage of that force in less time? So thinking about it that way, let's say the sprinter who deadlifts 400 pounds, they can put 400 pounds of force into the ground in, we'll call it, I don't know, 0.2 seconds. But the sprinter who deadlifts 500 pounds can only put, I don't know, 300 pounds of force in the ground in 0.2 seconds. The max strength in that point is almost irrelevant, because it's the max amount of force that you can do in the least amount of time. So it's a long, really roundabout way of saying it's not just about how much you can lift. It's also about how quickly you can produce a maximum amount of force. So both of these together lead to the greatest possible outcome. And so that's really where I'll structure my max effort day and my dynamic effort day, so that they converge at like the peak maximal strength. What's up, guys? Just used the bathroom. I'm gonna go to bed now because I'm exhausted. My brain is just like all fog. I'm gonna go to bed. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, leave in the comments. See you soon.
Beautiful. Yeah.